Hey up, hope you're all well. So I promised you last week, I promised you an update on the outdoor tanks, the setup, the build, what we're doing there. So I'm going to go ahead with that. There's Mel coming to say hello. Yeah, I haven't filmed a massive amount of it. I'm just cracking on with it. I'm on my own, so it's a case of getting on with it as and when I've got time. But there's not a massive amount going on, so I'll show you that. New addition is I'll put a sail shade on here. I mentioned very briefly in the last video, I think it was, the first week I had Mo, I put him in and it looked like he got sunburn. It was scorching hot, and I think although they've got the cave and there is a few lily pads now, I wanted a bit more shade, so they've got the option. You can see this corner's getting it now, so at least they've got a bit more protection if they need. I'm currently topping up because obviously it's warm and we're losing a bit of water with the sun, but yeah, everything's looking good in here. So we're going to stop waffling. I'm going to take you down and show you what we've got on with down at the bottom. So very quickly, you'll have to excuse the mess because it is literally a building site. So we've got the hardcore and the MOT1 sub base down. That's ready for the tanks. There's going to be a layer of sharp sand on that, and that's probably about it. It's a good 8 inches deep, maybe 9, and it's absolutely solid. I've got the compactor here, that was good, and the jackhammer. What we did, this was a path that run all the way up, and it was due taken up. It was knackered anyway, it was broken in parts, so I got the jackhammer and I took the path up and used that as a hardcore, and then some MOT1 on top of that, and we've compacted it down. A bit more compacting to do, I reckon, but yeah, it's nice and level. It's just the right length and width for the tanks when they arrive. I've got a skip on order because I've still got plenty of soil left. I've still got some trenches to dig for the pipe work, because the pipe work's going to come from the Nexus there, and then it's going to run into there, but that's for another day. So we'll go on to the Nexus. So you can see it's running quite low. Well, it is and it isn't. So the water level in the tanks is absolutely fine. However, it's a bit of a balancing act at the minute. I'll briefly explain. You can see the pipe coming in there into the boot. So that's the 2-inch bottom drain. So we've got a 2-inch bottom drain coming from the 4 tanks, those 4 tanks. We've got the bottom drain coming in, and then we've got 2-inch coming out as well. So if I have the pump on max, it pretty much empties the Nexus, because there's far too much going out than there is coming in, if that makes sense. So what I've had to do on the air source heat pump, I don't know if I've shown you that installed yet, I don't think I have. So there's the air source heat pump, mounted on concrete blocks, nice and level as you can see, and that's worked to treat. But you put a bypass in with the air source so it can be taken out. Ignore all the cabling, I've got to sort that. So what I've had to do is tweak the flow with these, because again, even on the lowest setting of the vari pump, it would still pump too much, so it'd end up overfilling the tanks, if that makes sense. I know what I'm on about anyway, no bugger else does. Obviously, when we get the 3 easy ponds connected up, that's on a 4-inch, so there'll be a lot more water coming in. I'll be able to ramp up the pump and then tweak the flow, but that flow will then be between the 7 tanks, so there will be a lot of adjusting to do. But every tank's going to have its own 2-inch double union valve, so I can tweak the flow in on them all. So that's that. I will show you very quickly, if anybody's ever used these double unions, what I have been doing. I'm just undo. Typical, I'll undo the wrong side. So I wasn't sure if they had a direction of flow, but it turns out they do. That's there. Hopefully you can see that. So there is a direction of flow. When you take both unions off, you can see inside here there's some notches. That's for your handle. So what happens, I've got a spare handle. You put your handle in there, and then if you turn this counterclockwise, very stiff, but you can then turn counterclockwise, and then that makes this handle, a lot easier to turn, or conversely you turn it clockwise, that will make this handle a lot tighter. So if you have got any of these that are really stiff and you're struggling, that's how you can adjust the tension, I suppose, make them easier or harder. Just a quick one. So the pump, that's got to be, there's a concrete block going next to this, so that's got to be side mounted if you like. Not ideal, but I just didn't want the 90s on it. I didn't want any bends on it. I was straight in and straight out, because I'm going to have quite long runs. So that was the idea of that. I've got to put a bit of support on this one, so obviously it comes from there. Sorry, I just started running water. I'm topping the pond up. I started worrying. So yeah, this is the return. Comes out of the air source, but this, I mean, it's stable enough. But I'm going to put a support here. So there you can see there's the very control for the pump, and I've gone with sockets all around rather than the switch box. Just lots of people have experience with switch box. I've got one myself, as you know, indoors, and it works great. It's a timer box, so everything's on a timer, which is fantastic. But for this setup, if this air pump goes, this is the air pump for the Nexus and those 4 tanks. If that air pump goes, I don't want it to trip the whole lot. So that air pump will be plugged into that one. There's another air pump going on for the other tanks that'll be plugged into the next one, and vice versa. And all these are individual RCD plugs. So the idea is, if one item goes, it'll just trip that double set rather than tripping everything. What I've done, I've upgraded the garage, the electrics in the garage. So upgraded the consumer unit in there, ran some 4mm armoured cable into here, so it's double RCD'd, but these will trip first. There is the UV, it's a 110 Pro Pond Advantage UV. The only thing I say didn't like about it is obviously you've got your in and your out on the same end. I would have preferred the out to be on this end, in and out, but that's not how it works. So this is the return to these 4 tanks. This, where we've got closed off here, that's going to be the return over to the easy ponds. So that's pretty much as far as we've got with that. I was really pleased as far as connecting everything up. All my solver weld joints held. There were no issues. The only issue was the double unions on these pumps were a right pain in the arse to get watertight. I had the plumber's tape on, and I was, yeah, but I got them tight enough in the end, got them done. I don't think I have put it out actually. When I was first putting all this together, I didn't know whether to build the filter house. Obviously we're under a canopy, but I was going to build the filter house first, and then, but no. So basically all I've done is slung those backboards up, and now I can build the filter house around it. So it's only going to come from this edge, but I can build around the round, because I'm not really limited on space, which is fortunate. I can just build around what I've put in. So what we are going to do, you can see that K plus media there, that's 2 weeks old. The whole system now is 2 weeks old, so that K plus has only been in 2 weeks. I did seed it with a small bag of K1 from the shower on the indoor setup, but it started rolling and boiling after about 10 days. You can see in there, yeah, maybe need to give that another clean. It doesn't take much to get it gunked up, and it hasn't quite, yeah, that's not too bad. I'm going to put some Cyperax in the top of there, just because I've heard that Cyperax helps with nitrates. Only a small amount. It's obviously not going to be there for mechanical, it's there just to help reduce nitrates, and I'll just sit that on the top of that. It'll eventually boil in and boil through, but yeah, I will try it. I don't think it'll do any harm. What I have got is another 100 litres of K plus. I'm going to stick that in here, so I'll do that in a second. What we'll do, I will quickly show you the fish, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, and I'll get back to you. Right, a real quick look at these in here. These are round 2 mix, round 2 and 3 actually, from Adam Bayer. I've got a siphon in the bottom of there. I've only been here 3 days. It doesn't take long. So yeah, that's today's job after I've finished waffling with you. But they're doing really well. There is a couple on the outside still, just to clean the bottom of the net and keep the tank clean. That's those. Let's get you around here. That's these guys. These are the round ones. They're doing really well. This was all cleaned yesterday or the day before, so we're all good here. So you can see these guys, these are doing really well. They're absolute pigs still. They'll leave for fun, this lot, but they've taken to this setup really well. I've been managing the feeding levels to try and manage a bit of new pond if I get it, but they've been doing really good so far. I did some water tests yesterday and all was good. There was a trace of ammonia, but not a lot. No nitrites, which is all good, and the pH was pretty stable at about 7.8. So considering they're only a fortnight old, the tanks, yeah, I've got no complaints at all with that. Yeah, the water levels are always good. The Nexus does a good job, obviously. The bottom drains are working well. Like I say, it's only been in a fortnight and I've had to give the Nexus a good clean already because it's dragged so much muck out. Then these are a bit more shy, these the smaller ones. I don't know if you'll see them, but they're coming on really well. These are the Kikikuru mix. They're starting to thrive a bit better now. They're in on their own because they were always competing with the bigger ones for food. Since they've been in here for the last couple of weeks, they've come on really well. So yeah, that's these. So what we're going to do quickly there, we've got another 2 50-litre bags. I didn't want to do it early on. I wanted to get all this not mature, but I wanted to get this lot rolling before I added a load more. So we'll see how we get on with that. Stick her in now. So there we go. Not too bad, didn't spill much, I don't think. It'll be interesting to see now how long that takes to start boiling with the rest of it. Like I said, the other lot started boiling within 10 days, so hopefully that'll not be too long. So I'm going to pop back down to the pond. Right, so I think that's about wrapped that up. Obviously I don't know if I'm topping up. I always top up on a spray as well, like that, it just gases off. It is going through a dechlorinator, but you know, I just don't like taking a chance. I've actually got a lily flower through as well, one. All those leaves and one flower. Better than none. So yeah, that's about it. Everything's good. Thanks very much for everyone that's joined me. Thanks very much to everyone that entered the competition. The winner has been in touch and he's claimed, so I will be posting that out. Well, actually by the time this video goes out, it'll already be in the post. So thanks very much for everyone's support. I appreciate every single one of you, and we'll see you again next week. Cheers.